Hi guys, welcome back to Codemaster Coach, your medical coding tutor. Guys, as you requested, I'm doing this review on the CPT guidelines. But let me start. I never do this. I try to remind myself to do this every time, but I forget. If you have not yet subscribed to my channel, please do so. Give me the desire to want to take time to prepare these videos for you. Otherwise, I'm putting a lot of effort in these videos and my subscriber count is not going up. So if you would, if you're not a subscriber, please subscribe to my channel. Take the time and subscribe. All right, CPT guidelines. My first question to you is, where are they? I hear a lot of people tell me they're the green pages at the beginning of each of the 6 sections of CPT. Let's review. Are they really? There are CPT guidelines. At the beginning of evaluation and management, there's green page that says evaluation and management service guidelines. It even says anesthesia guidelines, the green pages in front of each of these sections. There are green pages in front of surgery that say surgery guidelines, as well as radiology, the radiology guidelines. They even go on and say pathology and laboratory guidelines, as well as medicine guidelines. Guys, these are the 6 sections of CPT, and at the beginning of each of these sections are these green pages that say guidelines. But there's more to learn about the CPT guidelines. Codemaster Coach says these CPT guidelines are throughout the entire classification. And everywhere I put classification, I mean entire CPT book. So how do you find them? Let me show you. First, go to the table of contents at the beginning of each of the sections. And in surgery, there's table of contents in front of each of the subsections. So review the table of contents. Notice how it starts off and it gives you the subsections and it tells you what page you can find them on. Review the table of contents. Look for the asterisk on the table of contents. The asterisk indicates that there are additional special instructions or guidelines to be followed before assigning a code in that particular area. Aren't those guidelines? Let me show you. Let's look back at that previous table of contents. Do you see an asterisk? Look closely. Because if I look at debridement, I see an asterisk. If I go down to biopsy, I see an asterisk. There's one at removal of skin tags, even at excision benign lesions. Train your eyes to see these asterisks that are involved. So if I go, let me go back, let me show you. At debridement, it said page 83. So when I go to page 83, page 83, debridement. And there's instructional notes, guidelines, how to use codes in that section. It also told me at biopsy. Wow. There's some biopsy, special instructional notes, and guidelines. Different types of biopsy, transdental, punch, incisional. But it doesn't stop there for a biopsy. Be careful. It goes on to a second page. Okay? Giving you additional instructional notes or guidelines. When 2 biopsies, how to accurately code it. When 3 punch biopsies, it's showing you how to accurately code these. These are additional guidelines. But if your eyes aren't trained, my students always say, Coach, you always say that. If your eyes aren't trained to see the asterisk, to know that there are special instructional notes or guidelines to be followed, you don't know to follow them. So, now you see why I say CPT guidelines are found throughout the entire section of CPT and not just in the green pages at the front of each section of CPT. And remember, without these special instructional notes or guidelines, we would not be able to accurately code. So spend time reviewing these special instructional notes or guidelines, and a rule of thumb is highlight them now so that during your certification exam, you won't have to spend time reading those entire notes. Look at biopsy. Imagine having to spend during your CPC exam time having to review all of this information at biopsy. It even goes on that second page while your time is ticking during your CPC exam. Take time now to read through these and look at this space right here. Write in this space little hints to yourself in your own language, because with medical coding, like I tell my students, with medical terminology, you had to learn the language of medicine. With medical coding, we have to learn the language of these classifications, these CPT books, ICD-10-CM books, HCPC books. So spend time now reading through these special instructional notes or guidelines, and then highlight what stands out, what's most important to you, or put your little note in your book now before you go into your exam. So you want to spend time reading through those 2 pages on biopsy. I also want to cover symbols today. Symbols in CPT. These symbols can be found throughout the classification at the various codes. And to accurately code, you must understand what these symbols represent. There is a shortcut, however, with the explanations on the inside cover of your CPT book. See at the top where it says symbols? There's a shortcut. And it's on my same page, there's modifiers. But like I always tell my students, if you want the full description of the modifiers, go to Appendix A. But once you've studied Appendix A and you know, okay, 50 is bilateral, then you know right there, bilateral. You could just take that bilateral. But again, with increased procedural service, you might need to review the explanation for modifier 22. Well, symbols has the very same thing. This is the shortcut on the inside cover of your book. But there's also an explanation of the CPT symbols in the introduction to CPT at the front of your CPT book. So look in the introduction and go down to code symbols. It explains in detail how to use each of the symbols. Spend some time reviewing these symbols and look throughout the classification for these symbols. I put 3 practice questions here for you to start putting into play or into practice these symbols. Question number 1 says, can code 17003 be used alone? Go to code in your CPT book 17003. There's a symbol in front of it. What does that symbol mean? And so my question is, can it be used alone, that code? What is the full description of code 20663? Watch the symbol. And then what does the symbol in front of code 31259 mean? Take some time and do those real quickly. My next slide will have the answers to all 3 of these questions. I'm going to pause a little minute here, give you time to look at each one. Pause the video, look at these 3 codes, and based on what you know about symbols, answer these 3 questions. Can code 17003 be used alone? No. The plus symbol in front of that code indicates that that code cannot stand alone. What is the full description of code 20663? Application of halo, including removal, comes from the main code, and there's a semicolon. That's where the main code stops, and the rest of the code that identifies femoral is what 20663 identifies. What does the symbol in front of code 31259 mean? It means that that code is an out-of-sequence code. It's not in numerical order. It's going to be found in a different section. So if you got any of these wrong, go back and review symbols. My number one saying, my students hear this all the time. One graduate of mine even sent me a t-shirt that said, "Love your code books, and they will love you back with the right answer." Spend some time loving on your code books. Get to know them, and they will provide you with the right answer. You just need to know how to use them. Thanks, guys. I'll see you in the next one.